Gentlemen, what is going on today? My name is Ryan Mickler. I'm the host and the founder of the Order of Man podcast and movement. I'm glad you're here with us. It's my goal to give you the tools and resources, and in this podcast, the conversations that you need to thrive as a man, a husband, a father, a business owner, a community leader, a coach, a mentor, a friend, etc., etc. We are into the new year, about 3 or 4 weeks into it as of the release of this podcast, and I hope things are going well for you. I wanted to share something with you that I think could be invaluable if you implement it over the next 365 days. Because I really want 2023 to be your year. We say it all the time, 2022 is a warm up. 2023 is my year. We're catching strides. We say all these kind of things. I actually want that to be true, because what I've seen a lot of us do is we end up saying that every single year, the same thing. 2022 is a warm up. 2023 is a warm up. 2024 is a warm up. Great. You're warmed up. Like, when are you actually going to do something with your life? So today I'm going to talk with you about a 4-part framework that I have developed over the course of 8-9 years now. And literally thousands of men have implemented in their life to be able to excel at levels that they did not previously excel at, and levels that they didn't even think were possible in some cases. So we're going to be talking about that. And I want you to know that I have a couple of resources that I can share with you that will support what we're talking about today. Or if you don't want those resources and you want to do it on your own, you're certainly welcome to do that. And I'm going to give you all of the information you need. I'm not going to withhold anything like some people do. I'm going to give you all the information so you can do it on your own. But if you want some help, I'll give you some resources on that as well. So the 2 resources I want to give you as we talk about this is, number 1, a free email series. It's 17 emails over a course of 30 days that's going to walk you through the exact steps that I'm going to share with you today in more detail. If you go to orderofman.com/battle ready, orderofman.com/battle ready, you can pick up that free email series. The other resource I want to give you is at store.orderofman.com. This is our battle planner. This is what I use every single day. And it's a document, a notebook, if you will, for recording your objectives, your vision, your tactics, your checkpoints. All of the things that I'm going to talk with you about today are recorded on a daily basis in this battle planner, because as it says on the first page of this battle planner, what gets measured gets improved. What gets measured gets improved. So let's get right into it. That is at store.orderofman.com. And then the Battle Ready program is orderofman.com/battle ready. Let's talk about this 4-part framework. I actually want New Year's resolutions, your goals, to actually work. Here's how we do it. Number 1, we're not going to start with goals. We're not going to start with goals. I know this is about goals, but we're not starting with it, because if you don't start with this, the vision for your life, then really the goals don't matter. You can move forward, you can move sideways, you can move backwards, you can move in an infinite number of ways, but unless it's actually moving you to the desired outcome, to the desired result, it really doesn't matter very much. So I want you to sit down, and this is not a one-time exercise, but I would love for you to sit down and really start to envision what your life could look like. What would your life look like? Paint this picture, use words, journal, document, draw, do a collage like we used to do in 6th grade. I don't care what you do, but start envisioning what your life would look like if your fitness was in check, if you knew how to communicate effectively with your wife and kids, if you knew how to handle your finances, if you were growing a business, if you were serving in your community, if you were showing up in powerful ways, the ways that you see and think that men should show up, what would that look like? Think about your vision. Write it out. There's a lot of different ways to do this. Get a journal. Here's one way. And write out how you're feeling, how you're experiencing life, what it looks like, where you live, who you're around, what you're doing, how you're spending your time, what you're doing for work, what virtues and values are important to you. And write it as if you've already achieved it. Write it as if you've already achieved it. That's one way to do the vision. Another way is to write it as if you haven't achieved it, but you're actually working towards it. And a vision isn't, I want to run a marathon. That's not the vision. Vision might be, if we're talking about fitness, for example, and health, might be, I want to be a healthy individual that is alive and full of energy and feels younger than I actually am in age. And I have the energy to do my work, to spend time with family, to be engaged with friends, to go on trips and travel. And I want to be healthy so I can accomplish those things. I want to serve. I want to live a long life so I can serve for a long time. That's more of the vision than saying, I'd like to run a marathon. Now, the marathon might support the vision, but it always has to start there. And the reason that it starts at the vision is that if you start it with the objective or your goal, it may not be strong enough to get you through the difficult times. And if your goals are meaningful and significant, as they should be, then there's going to be difficult times. There's going to be obstacles and roadblocks and hurdles and barriers that you need to go through or overcome. And we need to fixate our minds on the vision of how we see our lives. And if we don't have that, we're probably going to end up somewhere that we're not completely satisfied because we weren't deliberate and intentional about it. So all of your goal planning starts with this overarching vision of where you want to be. Again, you can write it in the context of you've already achieved it. You can write it in the context of what you want to accomplish. The way that I do my vision is that I've already achieved it, and it's very focused on the way I show up. So I show up with honor. I show up with respect. People around me are excited to have me there. I contribute. I engage. I add to conversations. I'm a healthy individual who has lots of energy. I'm in the community and I'm serving and I'm helping and I'm leading this organization. That's my vision. There's no parameters on how short it needs to be, how long it needs to be, but it needs to be emotionally charged. You need to read it and in a way almost tear up a little bit reading it because it's so powerful to you. And maybe you don't literally tear up, but it's emotionally charged. A lot of times emotions get a bad rap. And I've been talking a lot about how emotions aren't a bad thing. They can actually be used to accomplish some very good and real things. So get that emotionally charged vision. So that's step number one. All right, step number two, once we have the vision, and only once we have the vision of what we want out of our lives over the next 1 or 3 or 5 or maybe even 10 years. I usually don't go out that long. I would say the next year to 3 years, maybe 5 at the most. But in the next year to 3 years, here's my vision. The next thing that we do is we start looking at our objectives. Okay, and our objectives, goals, whatever you want to call them, our objectives are things that are tangible that we want to complete in the next 90 days. I work in 90-day blocks. Okay, that's it. This is a quarterly battle plan. I don't work in 6-month blocks. I don't work in a year at a time. I don't work in 5 years or 10 years at a time. I have the vision for that, but I work objectively towards those objectives in a 90-day window. So January, February, March, I will have accomplished these things by March. And there's 4 key areas that I focus on. So number one is I focus on calibration. Calibration is getting centered. It's getting right spiritually, mentally, emotionally. Part of that is journaling. Part of that is my walk and relationship with God. Part of that is how I feel about myself and my purpose on this earth. But it's getting grounded in something higher than yourself, something bigger than yourself, feeling good mentally and emotionally about who you are. That's calibration. There's a lot of things that could be objectives for calibration. It could be completing a specific course that's going to help you meditate better, or completing a certain degree or certification that's going to help you, again, move towards your vision, but it's going to get you closer to God, right? There's things like an objective would be, hey, I'm going to finish the Bible this year. And if I finish the Bible, then I feel like I'll be more knowledgeable. I'll be more educated. I'll have a greater relationship with God. I'll be closer to God. And therefore my life will be better and it will move me towards the vision I have for myself. So that's calibration. Okay. Next is connection. So connection is with the relationships you have with other people. And sometimes these relationships are great and they're firing on all cylinders. And other times they're not. You're struggling. You're struggling to connect. You're struggling to relate. You're struggling to have conversations. You're struggling to be connected with somebody. The relationships around you matter. No man is an island, and no man can do this thing we call life on his own. So what does your relationship with your wife look like? What does your relationship with your kids look like? What is your relationship with the rest of your family or your friends? Maybe it's an employer. Maybe it's an employee. Maybe it's a young man that you're mentoring or coaching in some aspect of life, and you really want to build out the relationship with them. A great Objective in the relationship or the connection quadrant is what I would call it, is doing a project, a meaningful project together. Could be coaching sports for your children. And that's a great way to connect with them over something meaningful. It could be working on a woodworking project, like building storage shelves for food supply. And you're doing that with your son or with your daughter. A lot of different things that you can do. Kip Sorensen, a co-host of the Ask Me Anything podcast, one of his connection objectives, this was about a year or so ago, was he was going to do either a Ragnar or a triathlon with his wife. And that was the way that they were going to connect. So it was the objective was to complete that, but in the process, they were connecting at a much deeper level. So that's what the connection quadrant looks like. Okay, next we have condition. And condition is your health. It's your physical body, sleep, diet, nutrition, fuel, exercise, recovery, stamina, all of these things that we think about when we think about our health. And take a real honest look about where you are now and what that vision you have for yourself is, and try to bridge the gap. So if you're trying to develop strength and build strength, then, okay, that's what you need to go to the gym. You need to get stronger. You need to put on a certain amount of muscle. If you want to improve I don't know if you can hear the noise in the background. You may or may not. My youngest son is out there yelling at something. So speaking of connection quadrant, like maybe I need to connect with him and figure out what's going on. But with regards to condition, so back to what I was saying, is if you're in martial arts, a condition objective might be that, hey, in the next 90 days, I'm going to compete in a jiu-jitsu tournament. And that's going to help me be healthier. That's going to help me to feel better about myself. That's going to help drive me towards results. It's going to make me a better protector. A lot of things that's going to drive you to when it comes to the vision that you have for yourself. So what does that condition objective look like for you? Compete in a marathon, compete in a jiu-jitsu tournament, put on a certain amount of body mass, lean muscle mass, lose a certain amount of weight. A lot of things that you could do. I find that the condition quadrant is one of the easier for men because it's very quantifiable. So what is that 90-day objective for you in condition? And then the last is contribution. So I believe that men are men of value. We add value, we enhance and enrich the lives of the people around us, and we give back and we serve, and we have to make ourselves more capable of doing so. So the finances fits into this. The business fits into this. Charitable service fits into this. It's what you're doing to improve not only yourself, but the environment around you. And I think a lot of times people ask me about the money and the business side of things and why this is in contribution, because I think they're in direct proportion to each other. I think the better you are at making money, the better you are at being an entrepreneur or a business owner or even an employee, the better you are at that, the more proficient you are with your money, the more proficient you are with your resources, the more likely it is that you're in the position to be able to serve others, help, offer solutions, and give people what they need to thrive in life. So a contribution objective could be gaining a new certification that's going to help you offer a service to the world. It could be starting a charitable organization. It could be donating so much money to a charitable organization that you believe in. It could be starting a charitable organization. It could be taking on a new project or task at work and completing that project, starting a new business. A lot of different things that this could be. But again, it's about making yourself more valuable and feeling good about that, of course, but then also giving that value to the world. Some of it you're going to be compensated for through work, like I am here in this business. And some of it you're doing it because you want to give back to the community or give back to the people who helped you along the way somewhere. So let's step back for a minute. First, we have vision. Next, we have our objectives in the 4 quadrants. So again, they're calibration, connection, condition, and contribution. Now that we have our objectives, this is where the rubber meets the road. Okay, this is where we start thinking about what specifically we need to do on a daily basis. So if, for example, you want to run a marathon and that's your condition objective, and you want to do that in 90 days, what are you going to do every single day to get to that point? It might be that you're going to train an hour and a half or 45 minutes or an hour or whatever you decide, you're going to train every single day to accomplish that. So I'm going to train an hour every single day. That's going to be a combination of running, being in the gym, treadmill, conditioning, cardio, all that kind of stuff. Sometimes I will add a secondary tactic, is what I call these things, a secondary tactic that I can do that isn't daily. It might be, for example, is Monday through Friday, I'm going to train running, cardio, strength training, etc. And then on Saturday, I'm going to go out and run various lengths. So the first Saturday, I might go out and run 3 miles. The next Saturday, I might go run 8 miles. The next Saturday, I might go run 10 miles, and so on. You get the idea. But you need to have these daily tactics in place that you can literally, whether you're using a battle planner or you're getting the emails that I shared earlier, or you're just writing it down on a notepad and a piece of paper. That's fine. If that works for you, do that. But you need to have something that you can check off every single day. Yes, I worked out. Yes, I read my pages out of the Bible. Yes, I did some research on that new credential I was trying to get. Yes, I coached my daughter or son's little league sports team. And you can check it off every single day. We want to quantify it. We want to be able to put it in front of us and see that you're actually moving the needle. This is why so many goal planning softwares and strategies and tools fail, is because you come up with what you want to do, and then it's like, what now? I don't know. I'm just going to try to do it whenever. Doesn't work, gentlemen. What works is being assertive. It's being proactive. It's documenting. It's tracking it. It's being ruthless in commitment to what you're trying to accomplish. If your objective is to build the storage space out in your basement for food storage with one of your children, because that's how you're going to connect with them, then what are you going to do on a daily basis to make that a reality? Now, some of it's going to be planning and preparing. Others, it's going to be cutting the equipment and getting the parts together. Other times, it's going to be actually working on it and building the shelves themselves, installing the shelves, painting, putting the cans and the food storage where it belongs. But you can see, if you do that every day for 90 days, and I'm not talking about a lot here, guys. I'm not talking about 3, 4, 5 hours a day. I'm talking about take a half an hour, take an hour every single day and work on that. The gym, that's a great example. Wake up 45 minutes earlier. Some of you don't have 45 minutes early. Do 30 minutes. I don't care, but do it every single day. It's the consistency that's going to make the biggest results. It's the compounding and the consistency that's going to produce those results for you. So we have the vision, working backwards. Now we have our objectives. Working backwards, we have daily tactics, and sometimes a secondary tactic that we would do weekly. For example, if you're trying to connect with your wife, a weekly tactic might be weekly date night, but a daily tactic might be something as simple as letting her know that you love her in some meaningful way. Maybe it's writing her a little note. Maybe it's buying a small little gift on your way home. Maybe it's just carving out 20 minutes for a walk one day, getting her flowers, sending her a message throughout your day, being creative. You can do that daily, and then you do your weekly date night. Okay. The last component of this is your checkpoints. Now, these checkpoints are something I don't see in a whole lot of planning scenarios, but you have to know if you're on the right track. Because if you're doing, let's say you're training for a marathon, and you feel like that's going to move you towards the vision of being in better health and being a strong man, strong, capable man, and you're doing training and you do that for 30 days and you realize, man, I don't feel like I'm getting what I need. That's a problem. Do we wait for 90 days to reevaluate? No, we can't wait for 90 days. So we have 30-day checkpoints and we have 60-day checkpoints. And on the 30-day checkpoint, we evaluate where we are. If it's running a marathon, for example, am I able at this point, at this stage in the game, am I capable of running, for example, a half marathon? If you are, I would say you're probably on the right track. If you're not, maybe the training needs to change. Maybe you need to do something different. Maybe you need to spend some more time recovering. Maybe you need to spend more time stretching. I don't know what it is, but the reason we have those checkpoints in place is so that you can figure out what's going well and what's not going well. So you can either maintain the current course you're on, if it's working, or you can move back, reevaluate, and pick a new course of action. So we do a 30-day checkpoint, and we do a 60-day check. And as long as you're on the right trajectory, then you know you're good. If you're not, you can make the changes that you need. Guys, this is a very simple process. It doesn't have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be a long process. I would say the most tedious part of this is A, doing the work, and B, making sure that you're documenting. That's a crucial component of this game. You have to document it. If you don't have a journal that you can write down, or you don't have the battle planner that you're using, it's hit or miss. It's sporadic. It's doing it when you want, and doing things that you want to do when you want to do it probably got you the results that you have in your life right now, which, if you're listening to this podcast, I assume that you want more out of life. So let's do things differently. In 2023, let's plan differently. Let's strategize differently. Let's employ different tactics. Let's do things that actually work. And the battle planning system has proven, with thousands and thousands of men who have gone through it on their own, who have gone through the emails, who have joined our exclusive brotherhood, the Iron Council. Thousands of men have gone through this, and it's working. They're making more money. They're starting businesses. Charitable contributions are up. They're serving their families. They're leading their wives. They're connecting with their kids. They're getting in shape. They're losing weight. It's an amazing thing when you have a system that works, and then you have the tools to be able to do it. And also, having the tools allows you to have some accountability in there as well. So it's a very simple process. I don't want to complicate it. I don't need to pretend that it's something greater and grander than it is so that you'll buy my stuff. It's not what this is about. This is about serving each other. And so if you have questions, you can email me. You can shoot me a message on Instagram. That's where I'm most active. And let me know what your questions about the planning are. If you want additional resources, you can go to the Battle Ready program, orderofman.com/battle ready. That's a free course, free email series. And then you can pick up, if you want, the battle planner, which you can find at store.orderofman.com. And you'll get this leather-bound planner for you to track all of these things that we shared. And it's going to give you some tools to walk you through as well. Guys, I really want 2023 to be a killer year for you. I don't want it to be another warm-up year. You've had enough warming up. We've all warmed up. We're warm. It's time to get to work. It's time to produce results. It's time to achieve what it is we want to achieve. And no more warm up. Let's actually do something that moves the needle forward. You can do this. I'm here to support you. The men that join us on the podcast are here to support you. If you want to connect with us on the socials, we'll all support you. If you want to join our exclusive brotherhood, the Iron Council, it's closed for now, but that's going to open up back in the spring. We're here to help. We're here to lead each other. We're here to be led so we can learn new things and make the most of our lives. So guys, check it out. Again, store.orderofman.com for the battle planner, and the email series is at orderofman.com/battle ready. All right, guys, you have our marching orders. I hope that helps. If you have clarifying questions or comments, let me know. I'll get them answered for you. Until then, let's go out there, take action, become the man you are meant to be.